You've seen this photo before. We've talked about it here on the channel, but the question is, could this be recreated very, very soon at a Baltimore Ravens press conference? Jaire Alexander, Lamar Jackson, they were college teammates, and after Jaire Alexander was released today from the Green Bay Packers, could they be NFL teammates very, very soon? Green Bay just gave the Ravens a gift of possibly being able to add, when he's healthy, one of the better cornerbacks in all of football on this team. Ian Rappaport is the one who broke the story earlier this morning. After a ton of back and forth along the entirety of the offseason, the Green Bay Packers officially cut ties with Jaire Alexander, and now he is in free agency. On today's show, we're going to break down him possibly coming to Baltimore, what the price might be, and where I think he will end up. Before we get into that, though, we're in the beginning half of our June AFC North sub battle, and right now we're in dead last. 331 subs added so far in June. Not a bad number, but when you compare it to everybody else in the AFC North, we are about 29 subs off of first place. Close to being in third, fourth, honestly, even fourth. I just need every single one of you guys who aren't subscribed, if you love the Ravens, if you love free things, this is time to hit that sub button because it helps us out in our AFC North sub battle. It's up to you guys. Join us today. Alrighty, I'm going to start with a little bit of a disclaimer. When we discussed Jaire Alexander possibly being added to Baltimore along the course of the offseason, I was anti-trade, right? But I wasn't anti-trade because I didn't like who Jaire Alexander was. I didn't like the player, but I just didn't know if it was worth the risk of having to pay him a lot on that contract, trade something for him, right? The addition, or I guess both of those two things. But now that he's a free agent, it's really, really interesting to me because you look at this cornerback room, and this isn't a room that you say, okay, Jaire Alexander doesn't have a place in. If you add Jaire, let's just be real with each other. He could start tomorrow. Genuinely. When he's fully healthy, I still believe he's one of the best in the game. His only thing is he hasn't been able to be fully healthy. I think this cornerback room still could improve. I like it. I don't love it. I've talked a lot over the offseason about it. I thought they probably should have addressed it a little bit earlier than they did in the draft. They didn't, and now you're going into this season with a group that doesn't feel like it's that much better than it was last year. And that's what you have to ask yourself. Is this group improved from year to year? The answer might be yes, but it's not a resounding yes. Sure, Brandon Stephens isn't on this team anymore. He was a massive thorn in your side, but is Chidobe Awuzie that much better than Brandon Stephens? I don't know. I don't think so. Nate Wiggins, I feel like, is going to take a massive jump. Marlon Humphrey is still a dog. I like these players in this room. They just gave up a ton of passing yards last year, second most in the National Football League, and it's not like they got that much better from year over year. So if you add Jaire Alexander, I think you take away that problem. That's just me personally. What say you guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. Should the Ravens, not the Packers, sign Jaire Alexander? You let me know by give me a yes, give me a no in the comment section down below. And if you say no, let me know why, but get your answers in the comment section. So me personally, I've got to wait to see the price. I've got a couple of thoughts on this. I feel like he could be wanting a good bit of money because he didn't take that restructured deal, but also, he's missed 20 games in the last 2 seasons. How much are people going to be willing to pay him? And that's why if his price is high and you got this to go with it as well, I think I'm out. 20 games missed in the last 2 seasons, and if he's asking for a bag on top of that, it's not worth it to me. Especially because of the state of where Baltimore sits with their current finances, which aren't, incredible. They're not in a terrible spot, but they're not in a great one, right? And you look at his contract details of what he had, 0 guaranteed money left, 2 years left on the deal, base salary, as I step on my headset and almost break my neck, of $37 million, $21 million a year. He was getting paid a pretty penny, and Green Bay didn't think he was worth that. And so I don't think that Baltimore should either, just because they feel like they might have that need there. And it really was a back and forth between him and Green Bay. If you didn't pay attention to it, there was an update, it seemed like almost every single week, and things changed almost every single week. And this is kind of why I thought he was going to stay in Green Bay. Because Matt Schneidman, Jeff Zrebiak, over there at The Athletic, he said last week, Packers offered Jaire Alexander a restructured contract, according to a source. There's no resolution just yet. The two-time All-Pro plans to report to Lambeau Field for mandatory minicamp, which would have been tomorrow. So the fact that he didn't take a pay cut in Green Bay tells me one of two things. He might still want to get paid, or he wants a contract that has multiple years. Because what I think they were offering him was a restructured deal that was incentivized, right? You get paid basically for the games that you play. And when you're a guy who's missed 20 over the last 2 seasons, that seems fair to me. And they offered him that on May 27th. It is now June 9th. Apparently over the last 13 days, nothing really happened. They didn't come to agreement. It seemed like Green Bay said, hey, we're not going to offer you any more of this. Take it or leave it. And so he left it. And now you're kind of sitting here thinking about, okay, should we strike on that? The one thing that I want to talk about is Asante Samuel Jr. Because I think this has a lot to do, and will have a lot to do with the price of Jaire Alexander. Asante Samuel Jr. is younger than Jaire by a good bit. He's 25 years old. And he is still a free agent. Okay? He's out there. So Jaire Alexander, I feel like by not taking that restructured deal with Green Bay, is kind of betting on himself. Saying, you know what? I'm going to be able to find somewhere that wants to pay me more. But will he? That's the question. Because Asante Samuel Jr. is still out there. He hasn't found somebody who's been willing to pay him what he's worth. So I kind of am thinking that Jaire might be going into free agency, possibly thinking he's worth more than other teams actually think he is. So right now, the price might seem high. But if he's still not signed in a month, that price might go down a good bit. How are we feeling? You let me know down below by liking today's video if you want Baltimore to add Jaire, okay? If you want them to add the 2-time All-Pro, the 2-time Pro Bowler, a guy who was one of the best corners in football just a couple of years ago, do me one big favor and hit that thumbs up button. All right, in just a couple of seconds, we're going to have my prediction for Baltimore, my prediction for Jaire, what I think is going to happen with the cornerback and his future in the National Football League. But in the meantime, we got a guy who we know his future, okay? We know he's a Baltimore Raven. We know he's here for the time being and hopefully for the entirety of his career. Of course, I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. And if you go to chatsports.com/Lamar jersey, and that link's going to be in the comments and description of today's video, you can find his jersey for 20% off. It was $100. Now it is $80. I know that Father's Day is coming up. I know that you might have some birthdays around the corner. Heck, Christmas is in 6 months. You might want to just go ahead and stock up because you're not going to find this for $80 anytime else. Take advantage of this right now. Go to our friends over at Fanatics by going to chatsports.com/Lamar jersey. Get your Lamar Jackson jersey today while it's still 20% off. And of course, yeah, free shipping on that as well. Take advantage, go to that link, and help us out, help our friends over at Fanatics out, support Lamar Jackson as well, and you can head there right now. Alrighty, my prediction, I think that San Francisco signs him, okay? And I feel like this for twofold. Number one was San Fran. I feel like after Ward left in free agency and a ton of their other defensive pieces also got kind of picked apart in free agency, I feel like they're at a spot where they need the help. They need to have something different from last year to this year. They need to take a different step. They took a step backwards, and they might feel that with Robert Saleh and that new defensive coordinator and their new look defense, that Jaire Alexander might help them take that step forward. And then I think of it from Baltimore's perspective as well, and I feel kind of like Baltimore is just good where they are. Kind of how Baltimore always is. it always kind of feels like Baltimore's just like, I like where we're at right now. They do have $20.95 million in cap space. So that's the thing, in my opinion, of like, if they really wanted to, they could afford him. They've got almost 21 mil. Sure, they've got to still do some other things. Sign Mike Green. And then you have everything happening with roster cuts and getting down the 53-man. But like $20.95 million, it's a good spot. It's way better than they've been through the entirety of the offseason. Baltimore has the money to make this happen. They have the money to make a Jaire Alexander signing happen. And in my opinion, this is the year, this is the season to just go all in. Say, you know what? For once, we're not going to think about the future. We're going to add somebody in a spot of need, a position group of need, that when he's healthy, he can be one of the best in the game. I think they should try to get as many pieces surrounding Lamar Jackson, surrounding that offense, surrounding this team as they can, and Jaire Alexander would be that. And also, we talk about the cap space. They still got a couple extensions over the offseason that would still add to that cap. They extend Lamar Jackson, that adds to that cap greatly. I don't think they're going to extend Mark Andrews, but if they did, that would add to the cap as well. And then an Owe, he could be getting an extension any day over the next couple of months, and any of those guys would give them a little bit more space. So you could say, Joey, if they sign Jaire Alexander, they're going to be broke. No, they're not. These things happen all the time. These things change all the time. It honestly seems a little bit like cap space is something fake. It's something made up. It's a term that people, and again, I'm not starting a conspiracy theory. All I'm saying is you can manipulate the cap very, very quickly. There's 1 second where you feel like you can't spend money on anything. You make a couple of roster moves. You restructure some contracts. Bada bing, bada boom. You freed up $20 million. That could happen at the drop of the hat. I need you guys to do one thing for me. Get down in the comment section and weigh in for me. What's your confidence level that the Ravens sign Jaire? Scale it 1 to 100. 100, you're saying it's happening. I guarantee it. 1, you're saying not a single chance. You let me know your answer in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you guys are following on socials. You can find me at Joey Petersen 8 on Twitter. You can find me at Joey Petersen 8 at Instagram. Once you follow there, make sure you're followed here as well. Got to hit that big red sub button. We're trying to get to 35,000 subscribers before the preseason. Need your guys' help to get there. We just crossed 32. Shout out to every single one of you guys who helped with that. The next goal is 33. I need your help. So y'all do me one big favor and subscribe. Join us for daily coverage of your favorite team.